Welcome again to Family Dynamics with Bola. Today's episode is tender, honest, and very necessary. You see me sitting, right? It's the story of a 10-year-old boy who bravely shared his experience with me on how moving from Nigeria to Canada with his parents did something to him. Today's story is a story about silent struggles. It's a story about well-meaning intentions of parents. It's a story about how we as parents can better support our children through big transitions. Let me take you into this boy's world. This is what he told me. So, at first, Auntie, I thought it was going to be so much fun. Canada? It sounded like cartoons, snow, big houses, fun stuff, right? But when we arrived, the reality was different. That's what he said. Yeah, I loved seeing the snow. I loved seeing how pretty it was. But I just didn't like to be in that much snow. It was very, very cold and my fingers hurt. I know when I was in Nigeria, they would teach us French in school, but I didn't really realize that Canada was more or less like a bilingual country. You needed to really know how to speak French. I did not understand the school system. I didn't understand some of the kids' accent. Auntie, I was very intelligent in Nigeria. I'm still very intelligent, he said. But I didn't really understand how to join their games. Sometimes they say some jokes and I don't really understand. I miss my cousins. I miss the noise. I miss the laughter of Lagos. I actually even miss the sound of a generator at night. At school, it was very quiet. At home, it was even very quiet too, and I just didn't understand. Right? That's what the boy said. And as I listened to this boy narrate his story to me, I realized there are so many other kids who are going through this, right? But on the part of a parent, they made this big move with that child's future in mind, right? They do love their son deeply, but they're trying to build a new life. That's not unusual. So many immigrant parents are doing their best. Sometimes we don't realize that these children are quietly navigating an emotional storm of their own. Oftentimes, we parents, our intention is noble. We want to create a better life for our kids, and we're always looking for ways to give them a better life than we have. But the impact on a child can sometimes be very different from what our intention is. It could be misunderstood, even. And the truth of the matter is, children don't always know how to say they are not okay. So oftentimes you see them quieter than they used to be, or they act out, or they withdraw. When this boy shared his story with me, I thought so hard about it. And it made me to just even reflect on my own journey too, right? To see, okay, how many kids are going through this emotional turmoil. And sometimes we parents, we don't know. We think it might be the environment or we can attribute it to something else. So I'd like to share a few things with us that we can do. As parents, simple things, right? Check in with your kids as often as possible. Ask them open-ended questions. Sometimes we just ask them, how was school today? They'll just say fine or okay, right? But when you ask them, what's something that was challenging to you today? What's something that made you smile today? Or what has been the hardest part of the week, of a day for you? Those kind of open-ended questions will help them sometime open up. And sometimes they might keep quiet, but they will reflect on those questions, right? And another thing we could do is validate their feelings. Sometimes when they're going through this natural phenomenon, when they've just had a major move, right, don't rush to fix it. Sometimes they don't need fixing. They just need someone to validate their feelings. You can tell them, I do understand. I miss Nigeria too, and it's okay for us to miss it. We had our life over there, right? And sometimes it's okay to feel sad, but we'll get through this together. That child would never forget that. And you can help them to name the feelings that they're feeling. Sometimes all they want is to find the right word for them to express what they are feeling. When they're able to name their feelings by the help of you, the parent, that's the first step to healing. Like, mommy, I feel lonely. I miss my friends in school. I miss the things that we used to do. Oh, mommy, I feel scared. This place is new. Oh, mommy, I feel confused. So you can help them to name that feeling. And also let them tell you their story. Encourage them to draw, encourage them to speak, encourage them to write about their experience, about how they're feeling. And sometimes, you don't have to see it, but them just pouring it out can help them to find even the right words. And as much as you can, find space for them where they can thrive. Anything that will bring joy to them, it would really help them. You know, everybody has a story, and every single parent do have a desire to do right by their child. You don't move across the ocean, across the land, if it's not because you have a desire to give your child a better life, right? And this little boy story, it's an awakening. It's not anything to judge us, right? We know we've raised our children to be resilient, but they are also very tender. They're watching us, they're feeling the environment, they're trying to adjust. So, as parents, let's pause, let's listen, let's ask them questions. Let's not assume. Because when your child feels seen and supported, they're very likely to become grounded and thrive in this new land that you've brought them to. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Feel free to share this with another parent or a caregiver. And if you've had similar experience, whether as a child or as a parent, I'd love to hear from you. This is Family Dynamics with Bola.